In this video, we're going to examine what level of detail means to us inside of Autodesk Inventor. Now, the level of detail representations inside the software allow us to control the loading and unloading of components. We do this to enable better productivity of our machines. Now, there are a lot of factors that go into large assembly performance inside of Autodesk Inventor. One of them is how much RAM you have in your machine. Another is how fast your hard drive accesses the available files. It also matters where you store your files. Do you store them locally, or do you do the ill-advised method and put them on a network share somewhere, so every time you do a save or have to access something, it's pulling across the network? These are all factors that can lead into good or bad assembly performance. The complexity of your design also matters. If you have too many model edges, too many faces and contours, that can slow down the graphical engine based on your graphics card. So if you start running into issues of loading problems, or it just takes forever to open this assembly, or it takes forever to save it or close it or change views to rotate it, all these different scenarios, some things can be alleviated with level of detail. Other things are alleviated by the enhancements in the software over the years. More recent enhancements to Inventor have been multi-threaded graphic performance, as well as using a higher frame rate for your views of your graphical assemblies. The design I have in front of us right now, when I first got it back in Inventor 2008-2007 timeframe, it took me sometimes about 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes to open this assembly on the hardware I had at the time, which was not bad hardware, it was good hardware. It was just, it took forever for it to open up in these older versions of Inventor. Now I can get this file open relatively quickly in under 30 seconds. And there's other factors that have made that faster as well, such as the Express mode we have available to us. When you start thinking about level of detail, it's probably because you're running into some of these detrimental factors of your design. Maybe your assemblies are getting too big. Maybe you're getting too many components in your design, and you really like to start simplifying things. So as a simple example of this design here being simplified, in the lower right, you can see my total occurrence count is at 9769. If I activate one of my levels of detail I have in here, it's going to reduce that total count by removing these people I have in here, removing the parts I had on the conveyor line, and removing a lot of the bolts that I don't need to see at the general arrangement level of this design. And I've reduced my total footprint down to about 4,300 components instead. So as a takeaway from this, I would definitely encourage you to explore levels of detail if you are dealing with very large assemblies. If you have 50 or 100 or 150 parts in your design and you're running into problems with loading components, the level of detail may not be the answer, because it may be something else related to your RAM, your hard drive speed, where you're accessing your files. But when you have something that's 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 files, you might want to consider working with levels of detail to make your assembly performance more functional.